Shalom. I just wanted to make a quick video just to kind of vent a little bit, express myself. Just, how it is okay to be single. It is okay to not have a significant other. It's not okay to be casually sleeping around, the things that I'm a Gen Xer, so the things we did in our latter days, prior years, we should not be doing now. Diseases and stuff was out really bad then, but they're really, really getting bad today. With my relationship with God and me trying to stay away from the things that I used to do and continue to stay abstinent and celibate from being intimate with anybody, because to me, nobody is to be trusted. Nobody is to be trusted nowadays. Everybody's down low, and a man will look good, smile, smell good, and shoot game, but all along he's could be infected with numerous amounts of diseases, not just HIV, but other stuff too. So for me right now, I just want to encourage everybody just to stay safe out there. Be careful. Sex is not that serious. I ain't never been the type of person who felt like sex was just a major thing in my life. I'm okay, and I feel very good without having sex. And I went a long time, most of all of my 40s without sex. All of my 40s pretty much without sex. And then got into a relationship with this guy that wasn't good for me. I know he wasn't sent from God. He was sent from the devil. And when I did try to get rid of this man, it took a long time to get him out of my life, and he still tries to come around. And I also blame myself for any participation, but I did send him to the health department, and he did get tested for everything. So one thing I will do is send you to the health department, but be picky and choosy and very careful about who I date, and to date with a purpose, not to just date just for fun or for sport. No, it's with the purpose at my age. And no, I'm not played out. I'm not wore out. I'm not old and all that. I'm getting older, and thank God I'm able to see the years that he's blessed me to be able to see in this time that we're living in, because I know one thing I didn't go toward was drugs. I understood God's assignment for my life, and there's still a whole lot more to understand of my assignment, the things that God has me to do, and it's not to be a whore. It's not to be a slut. It's not to be a harlot. Okay, it's not to be intimate and casual, sleeping around just for fun. I made a lot of errors and mistakes in my 20s. Mainly that decade was a decade when I first got my apartment. That was a decade that, I just made a lot of bad decisions, a lot of bad choices, but I didn't have a whole lot of kids. So my kids are actually 10 years apart, and I'm grateful that I didn't have a whole lot of kids. And some of these guys that I slept around with casual or was in relationships with, I didn't have kids with them. I only had kids with 2 men, and that's really way too many. Having sex with just one person is way too many in God's sight. One person is enough. 2 people is way too many, is what I was trying to say. 2 people is way too many people in God's sight. So just because you ain't had sex with a whole lot of people don't mean that it's okay to just have sex with 2, 3, 4, 5. We all have fallen short to God's glory, and we all have done things that's not pleasing to God. So don't try to, it really burns me up to hear people say, well, I ain't had this, I did this. Everybody is probably done been ran through. If you don't have sex with 2 people, you don't have sex with the 20 people they didn't have sex with. If you had sex with 5 people, you don't have sex with the 30, 40, 50 people they didn't have sex with. So yeah, you are also contaminated. We all have been contaminated. We all have done some stuff. We all have said some stuff. We all have laid with people that's had demons and evil spirits and all kinds of stuff on them. So we shouldn't be judging people and talking about other people just because we've had have been sexual active in our lives. We need to just stay away from sex right now. Not unless you have a faithful man and a faithful wife, because now it's been, to me, husbands are cheating on their wives and bringing them back home diseases as well. So you can't win for losing. And I'm just saying right now that intimacy is not for me right now. I'm happy with doing it. I'm happy with keeping my legs closed and staying off my back, and praying and asking God to hide me until He unhides me from my husband. I don't want to be in the presence of people, places and things that's going to cause me to be tempted to do stuff that I'm not supposed to be doing, or talking on the phone to somebody that's trying to get me to do stuff I don't need to be doing. Because taking somebody out to eat, I can pay for my own food, but I don't have a problem with a man paying for my food, but sometimes that leads to other things. And I'm not going to give my goodies up just for a meal. If a person really care about me and like me, then he's not going to treat me like I'm some slut or whore or trick. And to me, not all men, but majority of the men seem like they hate women. So, men are ran through just as much as women is ran through. Men can't sit up and talk about women like a dog when men have just as many demons on them as women do. And a lot of the men are down low. And it's just what it is. So to me, I'm just encouraging everybody just to be safe, be careful. If you're trying to be in a relationship with a significant other, send them to the health department every 6 months. If they refuse, then they're cheating. And if they don't want to go to the health department in 6 months, after the first time, they're cheating. So, sex is way, God didn't really bring a lot of this stuff to my attention until like 10, 15 years ago, that sex is way more deeper. It's way more deeper. And so I didn't treat my body like it was a temple of the Holy Spirit. And God didn't capture me until I pretty much got into my middle 30s. So I've fallen short even since then. So I'm really trying to stay away from anything and anybody and people, places, and things that's just gonna, bad company corrupts good character. And I've always been a person who pretty much kind of stayed to myself and mind my business. And, it's not that I've mastered being by myself. I don't want to master being by myself, because God said it's not good for man to be alone. So even if we don't have a man or you don't have a woman, that doesn't mean that we should not be having people to be, good associates, good acquaintances, good friends, even if you have a best friend. So I don't claim everybody as my friend, and I don't break bread with everybody, because everybody don't mean you well. And so I'm just saying, pray and ask God to help you to stay strong in a time when you get horny, you want to have sex, and some fine dude is trying to come on to you. Just be careful and be safe, because even the ones that look good as heck and smile and be fine and built all up, they be rotten too. So, and that's for a woman too. Just because she got a big booty and she look good from the outside, don't mean that she good. She can be rotten to the core, and vice versa. So I'm just enjoying my single life and embracing it. There's nothing wrong with being single. I do think that we're here to be complete with our significant other, our husband or your wife. But I'm not finna be gloomy about being single and by myself and not having a husband at my age. Obviously, God knows what I'm ready for and what I'm not ready for. And there's a lot of deliverance that needs to take place in my life. It might need to take place in your life too. If we have a lot of spiritual warfare going on, a lot of things going on in our lives, God sees that we might need healing. That's why you don't have your man. That's why you don't have your husband. Or that's why you might have got a divorce, because you had a cheating husband or a cheating wife. And everything gonna go always peaches and cream in relationships, and don't nothing last forever. And if it do last forever, you know, it was because two people wanted it to last forever. You have to want to make it to 30 years. You have to want to make it to 40 years. You know, you have to want to make it. Two people have to come together and want to make it and want to go that far and through the test of times in this time that we're living in this era. So, with so much going on, and, you know, we need to be praying. We need to be reading and really can ask God questions. You know, he's listening, but you know, you have an enemy that's listening into your conversations as well. So always pray protection around when you're praying, because the enemy will mimic and copy what you're asking God for. He will go and copy and mimic what you pray for. And then somebody will come into your life that look exactly like what you pray for, and you would think it's God, but it's not God. So pray and ask for discernment and wisdom. And so it's very important that we ask for wisdom and discernment in these times that we're living in, because not everybody that try to come into your life is good for you and mean you well. So this is what I wanted to say. Have a good one. Shalom.